Hello, everyone, and welcome to our webinar this afternoon. Thanks so much for being here. And thank you for being on time, right at 2 o'clock. So we will wait just about a minute, 30 seconds to a minute as the attendees start joining the Zoom room, and we'll get started very shortly. But thank you to those who are here already and who've been waiting in the waiting room. Really appreciate that. How's the waiting room looking, Mel?
Right now we have 56. It's climbing up a little bit.
Okay, so we'll get started. Again, thank you for being here this afternoon with us and for taking this time to learn a little bit about Residence Council and get some ideas to help you in your planning for the celebratory week that's taking place next month during September 11th to the 17th. My name is Stephanie Ventura, and I'm the Director of Education with the Ontario Association of Residence Councils. I'm joined by Melissa Matheson, who is our Education and Home Support Manager. Hi, Mel. And we're ready to get started, and so happy that you're here with us today. And my screen is not going to the next slide. There we go.
All right, so I'm going to do the land acknowledgement for today. So together, let us now pause as we acknowledge the Indigenous peoples of all the lands that we are on today, from wherever we are virtually participating in today's meeting. Let us take a moment to acknowledge the importance of the land we each call home. Now, we do this to affirm our commitment and responsibility to improving relationships between nations and to improving our own understanding of local Indigenous peoples and their cultures. We acknowledge the ancestral and unceded territory of all the Inuit, Métis, and First Nations people who call this nation home. Let us now join in a moment of reflection to acknowledge the harms and mistakes of the past and to consider how each of us, in our own way, can move forward in a spirit of reconciliation and collaboration.
Thank you, Mel. So to start us off, we wanted to just go over some of the webinar housekeeping. So you will notice that the chat feature on Zoom has been disabled for this session. However, the question and answer box is open, and we encourage you to put questions in there as they come up during the presentation and at the end of the presentation where we've held time, protected time for questions. This webinar will be recorded and will be shared on our website along with the slide deck. It will also be emailed to everyone who's registered for this webinar. After the webinar, as we always do, we have a pop-up that will pop up and ask you to complete a quick, very short survey about the webinar that you've just viewed. And we do encourage you to submit your comments and your feedback. They inspire us to keep doing what we're doing well and let us know where we can improve. So appreciate if you could do that for us.
And for our time together today, just an overview, we are going to be talking about Residence Council Week, the important dates and our theme days, and the Resident Council Week reminiscing. We will share some OARC resources, and we'll also share some ideas and inspiration to get you guys started and help you along.
We'll also spend some time talking about the new this year Sharron Cooke Annual Legacy Award. During this time in our presentation, we will talk about Sharron, why it's important, why we are honoring her memory, talk about the award, how you can apply, and answer any questions that you may have about the award or about Residence Council Week in general. Oh, but just before we get started with that, We do have this photo of Sharron up. So Sharron was our past president of OARC for a number of years, and she was instrumental in shaping our organization as it's known today, and in speaking for residents across the province, elevating issues that matter. She was just a really special person, and we'll spend some time speaking about her a bit later in the presentation, but we wanted to start off this presentation, this webinar, with a message about Residents Council Week from Sharron.
Hello, my name is Sharron Cooke. I am president of Ontario Association of Resident Councils. Welcome to the first ever Resident Council Week. This week is the time to truly recognize and celebrate residents' contributions in their homes. This is your opportunity to celebrate your peer support, collaborations, and community engagements within your home and on behalf of your peers for a better quality of life, living in our place we call home.
So Sharron was also instrumental in the idea to even have a Residents Council Week and to celebrate this important time and recognize residents in the home, those who help support the council, and have a dedicated week for doing that. So thank you to Sharron. For this year, we've taken some of the things that worked really well from last year and carried those over into the planning for this year. And one thing that we got really great feedback from you about was having these theme days. So each weekday of Residents Council Week, we've come up with an idea, a theme that you can use to guide your planning for the week. So this is our 4th annual, and we're so proud that we've been able to continue with Residents Council Week, and every year it's getting bigger and gaining more traction, even though it started in 2020. During the pandemic, we've still been able to grow this into a really celebratory time for long-term care, for people who live in long-term care, and for team members as well, and those who help support the council. So here are the weekday themes that we've come up with this year. The 11th, which is the Monday, would be Membership Monday, and we'll talk a little bit about what that is in just a second. The 12th, Tuesday, is Togetherness Tuesday. 13th will be Webinar Wednesday. 14th is Thoughtful Thursday. And the 15th would be Festive Friday. So just going through those days, we have some suggestions of what you can do in your home on each of these days. And this will be sent out to you with all these suggestions jotted down in a bulletin style with the recording and with the slide deck for this presentation. So you're welcome to take notes or try and remember things now, but no worries, we will have this for you in a one-page concise document. So for Membership Monday, it's a great time to think about what it means to be a member of the Residents Council. So in the Long-Term Care Homes Act, it says that every person who lives in the long-term care home is a member of Residents Council. But we know that not everyone attends the meetings for whatever various reasons. So as someone who does attend the meetings, it's important to remember that everyone in the home, all residents in the home, are members, and think about ways that your council, the group that does get together, can keep the concerns and opportunities and voice of those who don't attend in mind. So getting some ideas, thinking about how you can incorporate the whole home into your meetings and what your council is doing. And many councils already do this really, really well. They really take a whole home approach when things are brought up at council, or when projects are worked on, or goals are set by the council. They really do take time to include the voices of many people, not just the ones who attend the meetings. Another thing for Membership Monday is we know that many of you are members of OARC. So OARC, we're funded by the Ministry of Long-Term Care, and we provide services for every long-term care home in Ontario, regardless of membership status. What the membership does, though, is show that your home believes in, or your council believes in, the work of OARC and wants to support us to do more of that work. So many of our homes are already members, and at this time, it's a great time to put up your new membership certificate. They've been emailed out, and have a resident with you, or a resident and a team member together, to put that new certificate up if you haven't already. And many homes don't even realize that they're members, because your organization, your corporation or operator that your home is a part of has actually purchased your membership on your behalf. So if you're not sure if you're a member, you can always give us a call or send us an email and ask. And if you haven't received your certificate, we can also help you with that. And if you are, so we know there's residents on this webinar, there are team members, there are also regional directors, there are corporate office folks on this webinar today. If your organization is not a member of OARC, what a great time to show the individual councils that are part of your group that you believe in the work that OARC does to help elevate and support residents' councils and help residents shape the place they call home. So if you're looking for something to do to help recognize the week, becoming a member of OARC, if you're not already, is a great thing to do. Start the week off right on Membership Monday.
And Steph, I just want to jump in to say as well, it's a great time for your council to understand who OARC is and what we do. So maybe just highlighting, if you are a member, why you're a member, and what we do as an association to help you guys out.
Thanks, Mel. Tuesday the 12th, we talked about Togetherness Tuesday. So OARC, for a number of years, we've been promoting this idea that the resident councils in the homes, in order for things to work really well, you really require the support of 3 key pillars. And those pillars are the residents, of course, the council assistant. So normally that's a team member or volunteer who helps to support the council, and the administrator or executive director. So when those 3 pillars work really well together, great things happen in the home. And we understand that there's been a lot of changes in the last 3 years. And so perhaps you're a resident and you're living in your home, you've lived there for some time and you haven't met your administrator yet. We have heard from some homes that this is the case. Or you have a new administrator who you haven't had a chance to meet yet. Perhaps you have a new council assistant, or just new neighbors, new residents living in your home. Togetherness Tuesday is an opportunity to host an event. It could be something your home is already doing. It could be your morning balloon badminton or exercise or something like that. Invite your administrator, invite your council assistant, meet with residents, get to know each other outside of your strict roles in the home or your defined roles in the home. Get to know each other as people and understand each other. Participating in activities together is one great way of doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Another way to do that is to, host a small social or a coffee chat. Yeah, meet and greet, and let people know who you are. OARC, to help support you in this, we will have new fact sheets for each one of these pillars that outline what the roles of the pillar are, what their responsibilities are in the home, opportunities for them to collaborate, and more. So you can get to know each other's roles and get to know each other as people as well.
Yeah, it'd be a great day to kind of start off the day with like a coffee chat, meet and greet, and have those fact sheets and read through them so that the residents know what the rules are, and then in the afternoon, have your administrator come to a program or do a lunch and learn with your administrator, or a program in the afternoon where they come and, your resident council assistant, and all three are together. And it's also a great opportunity to get a photo with the three pillars gathered together.
Yeah, and promote that photo in your home's newsletter or in your community, and show that steps are being taken to strengthen this relationship between the three groups. It's so important, and you can get so much more done, and just have better culture in the home when the three pillars are communicating and know each other and see each other often, and work together. So on to Wednesday, Webinar Wednesday. So for those who have been participating in our webinars this year, you'll have noticed that we normally have a webinar on the first Wednesday of the month. But with September being Residents Council Week, we have shifted the September 6th webinar to the 13th, so to the Wednesday of Residents Council Week. This webinar will be a celebratory webinar. We will be announcing the winners of our prizes during this webinar, and also sharing information. So more to come on this webinar. It will take place at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Central on the 13th of September. Something else you could do with Webinar Wednesday. So OARC has a large archive of webinars that we've already done in the past, lots of different topics there. If there's something your council wants to know about, likely we have done a webinar on it, and it is in our archive or on our YouTube channel. So it's a good opportunity to go through the titles and the descriptions of our webinars and see if there is something that interests your group. And you don't have to actually watch the webinar if, for whatever reason, watching a webinar is difficult for you to gather a group and watch a webinar. You can always print the slide decks that accompany the webinars and use those as a discussion group starter. We always pack them with lots of information, and likely there is something in the package that you can use to generate conversation or to create trivia questions from. So encourage you to go through our archived webinars and see if there's anything that's piques your interest and that of your council, but of course involving residents and team members. Geez, I was just thinking something else you could do. You could probably do a game where you watch one of the webinars that I've hosted and count how many times I say and then see,
somebody gets a prize.
right, like hot potato or something. Every time Stephanie says we pass this prize around, and whoever ends off with it wins, like a musical chairs type of thing.
That's funny.
Okay. Thursday, we have Thoughtful Thursday. So every Thursday for the last number of years, OARC has hosted resident forums. And this is a place where residents can get together. It's just for residents. You can speak freely. You can meet people from across the province. You can ask questions of residents who have lived in long-term care for a number of years, or hear from, what's this home doing to get around this, or to what's this home doing really well? What are the rules at your place? It's a great place for peer support and for some good laughs too, to make friends, to talk to people who may be experiencing something similar that you're experiencing. So these forums take place every Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. But we have heard that there may be a need to have a forum in the morning as well. So given that this is our celebratory week, we will be hosting on Thursday, the 14th, 2 resident forums, one at 10:30 Eastern, 9:30 Central in the morning, and the regular one at 2 p.m. in the afternoon. So encourage you to attend those. Again, they are for residents only. And we found that what works really well is if it's one resident and one device, or a couple of people and one device, just so that the camera, we can really see you and have that conversation. We have had larger groups attend the forums, and while it's still great and we'd love to have you there and see you, it makes it a little bit difficult for the larger group to have that two-way conversation. So something to consider if you'd like to just check it out and see what it's all about as a group. You're most welcome to do that. And information about these special forums will be going out as well. So stay tuned for that. And lastly, to end off the week, the work week, the weekdays, we have Festive Fridays. So this can take on a number of different things in your home. We have heard from homes who work really closely with their food service department and put on a celebratory type of meal, or a special barbecue to honor Residents Council Week, to celebrate the week. We've heard of homes who have created an awards ceremony or a recognition ceremony using the awards certificate templates that we've created, that OARC has created, hosting a red carpet awards ceremony. Something really nice to end off the week.
Yeah, it'd be great to recognize your resident council leaders in that way, and just, you know, they prepare a lot for every council meeting once a month. They do a lot for your council. So to recognize them and the contributions to your council would be really neat to do, and use those certificates for them. Or we've seen with the certificates used towards staff members from the council that, you know, some team members have been really supportive of the council and they want to recognize that as well. So that's another way. Steph, you'd mentioned earlier too about doing the celebratory event with a meal with dietary, but even, you know, just what is your favorite meal on the menu? You could work with the residents, can work with your dietary team to maybe have that day on the Friday geared towards your favorite meals on breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Thanks, Mel. Yeah, so Festive Friday, and even getting an entertainer, if that's something that your home can do, working with your council to choose an entertainer who may be available on that date, and really ending the weekdays off with something special that everyone can feel good about. Okay, so we have created a highlight reel from our 2022 submissions. So these we heard directly from you. Many people shared either on social media or through email some of the great things that they were doing in their homes. And we've compiled all of these into this video, which I'll show in just a second. And on our website, again, on our YouTube channel, we do have these archived videos there. So there's a whole suite of them on there, including this celebratory webinar that we did last year for Residents Council Week. So last year, there were still quite a few restrictions on people coming into the home to sing and entertain. So we were able to host a virtual entertainer. The video is still up and it's still great. So it's something that you can watch with residents in your home, even on the weekend, if it's more accessible to do so on the weekends. Okay, and we had such a great year last year. We were so fortunate to have celebratory special edition boxes that we sent to each home in Ontario, with some materials in there that would help you celebrate the week. And we're looking forward to being able to do that in future years. But for this year, we do have the same types of resources that you would have received in your box on our website for download, and you can print them in your homes as well and keep using those materials that are already there for you. So we'll take a look at the video here from our highlight reel and see if you can spot your home's contribution.
That's such a great video.
Thank you. Our behind the scenes operations manager, Jen, pulled that video together. And I hope you were able to see some of the, I know it went by quickly, but I hope you were able to see some of the ideas that Homes got so creative last year and really did a lot with the limited resources that some homes had. So the award ceremonies, you saw several photos of the award ceremonies and just the happiness of being recognized for your contribution to improving things in your home is something that doesn't take a lot, but has a big impact. We also saw a lot of great examples of how resident information boards could be updated, and including photos of your council's leadership team was something that we heard a lot from people, because you hadn't had the opportunity to cohort or to be together. You really didn't know who people were. So having those photos up there, I saw one home had a puzzle sort of program where they had photos of the residence council leadership team and maybe even some of the home's management team. And they've created puzzles so that you can get to know people that way. So
yeah, it's great. There was another puzzle on there about resident rights. So you had to put the resident rights together. I wanted to mention the cookies. So they made cookies that represented each resident right, a word on there. And, you can get pizza, Tim Hortons in, those are always great things. Also saw, the traveling cart. So we do have this on, and I'll talk a bit about the traveling cart, but I wanted to highlight that. And then also I'll talk a little bit later about the boards that had info. So just to remind you, on the video, there was a board with information. So I'll reference that later, but wanting to remember the video when I reference that.
Thank you. So nice to see how creative people are, and that you have shared this information with us and helped to contribute to the celebratory feeling of the week and having people involved and all the great things that happen at the home. So thank you so much to all who submitted photos and shared with us the special things that you're doing in your homes. It doesn't take a lot. You can do a lot with a little bit, and it doesn't really even take very much planning. The intent of the whole week is just to celebrate, recognize what you've done in your home, how residents have contributed to the home, and how their voice and their contributions are recognized and seen and celebrated. So continue to do that, and we have lots more information for you. Mel's going onto this slide here.
Yeah, so our resources on our website, www.ontarc.com. When you get the slides, you'll be able to click the link. And there is a tab under the Residence Council Week tab, and there is trivia, crossword, word search, coloring pages, scavenger hunt instructions. We've customized templates for posters. There's the brochure there that you can customize. The certificate of appreciation is on the website there as well. And then we also have this celebration ideas not a fact sheet, but a sheet that has information and some more ideas on there. And some of them are, with your activity in your home's newsletter. So having your newsletter be put out that week and really highlighting your resident council and what they do, and highlighting your resident council leaders and your council accomplishments. Considering, using that customizable brochure and handing out the brochure to everybody that week, and talking about residence council, inviting people to come to the council meetings, planning. We've mentioned before social events, meet and greets, where you can have people meet your resident council leadership team. In the video, when I referenced to think back on that traveling cart, so what they did was they ended up using a utility cart or your activity cart, and put a bunch of information and made it really flashy and fun, walked around to every single home area. to raise awareness about your council amongst the residents. Invite them to meetings, let them know about what the council's purpose and accomplishments are. And this is a great way. You could have that brochure, you can hand out the brochure. You can use this as a meet and greet with your council. So having your council leaders come along with that cart and go to every single home area. So for residents who might not be able to go downstairs or to the large area, they'll be able to meet your council leaders. You saw the boards, the resident council boards, really promoting your council and introducing and profiling your council on those boards. You could create an event that week where you're updating the board. You have residents be included in that. Do it as, gather everybody around, you could have resources and things that you could use in order to update that board together that week. We've talked about having a red carpet recognition award. Trying to think of some other things that are on here. The education event, which I thought was so great that the home did that you saw. I believe it was Dundas Manor. And in the video, what they did was they put together every single department that is in your home, your long-term care home team, where residents are involved and how the home involves the resident's voice. So for instance, they would have quality improvement. So a board with just all quality improvement, your emergency preparedness, your menu planning, and the dietary, your administration area. So every single, your activities and your recreation department and how you have a voice there and how you've shaped your home. So in every area where you have been able to shape your home and how the home engages you and your voice as a resident is displayed and celebrated. And I noticed in the video that they actually had in the background, one of our videos that is Residents Council's, I wrote it down, Residents Council Bill of Rights video. And so they actually are displaying that in the background during the event as well to highlight Resident Council, our Resident Bill of Rights, sorry.
Mm-hmm. And something came to mind as you were describing the education sessions with the different departments. So you may be wondering, like, what do I do with these boards after Residents Council Week? Or do they only come out during Residents Council Week? But think if your home ever does tours, group tours, or tours for potential new residents and families, you could also use those boards and let people know what your home is all about and how residents are involved. If you have an open house type of event in your home, you could do that as well. When new team members start, it could be part of their orientation, sharing as much information as you can and showing new team members, new residents, new families that our home involves residents in what we do. And we value the input that the residents give us. And here's how. So you can use it all year long. It's not exclusive to Residents Council Week. But if you're thinking of doing something like that, or there is a need for something like that in your home, why not tie it into Residents Council Week? Just wanted to do a shout out here for this balloon arrangement that you see on the screen.
Oh,
so
yeah.
That was actually a team member in one of the homes who has a side business doing balloons and contributed this to help decorate and celebrate Residents Council Week. So really great to see unexpected contributions to the celebration. So
It's from the community at large. Yeah, that's a great point, Steph.
yeah, and letting people know that this event exists, that this week exists. You never know who will say, hey, I have an idea for that, or I'd like to contribute towards that. But letting people know about it and promoting it is the very first step if your home is new to Residents Council Week, or you're looking to do something different than in past years.
And on the next page of the Residents Council, it's not, or sorry, no, the last slide. On the back side of this Residents Council Week page, it does talk a bit more about some ideas of integrating the Resident Bill of Rights during this week. And we have some resources online to really coordinate that with you. So doing like a resident rights scavenger hunt activity. We have a template and an information sheet talking about how to set that up, what does the activity look like, and how you can execute it. Another way you could do is pre-ordering copies of the CLIO resource, Residents' Bill of Rights, and having that implemented and given out at the home. Hosting resident rights discussion groups. You could, I saw a lot of programs in that video and ideas of how to kind of draw out your resident rights, doing the bingo game that is geared towards resident rights. Yeah, so that's all on that resource page. And then we will be also giving more information when we send out the bulletin as well with more ideas. So lots to choose from.
Thanks, Mel. Something new for this year that we've created. So if you're familiar with OARC, you have heard about Ask a Resident. And this is something we try and drive home with every presentation and every interaction, is that as a home, if you're looking to make a really good decision, or you're not sure where to go with a particular situation, ask a resident what they think, how they would help, or what they would choose, what they would like. Asking a resident can help you make richer decisions in your home and involve as many voices as you can, the people who the decisions impact. So we have created this poster this year that is multi-purpose poster in English and French. And the purpose of the poster is to give homes some ideas of where they can ask residents, or what they can ask residents in terms of home operations. So some of these are actually in the Long-Term Care Homes Act, and they have a little asterisk beside them. So questions about menu changes and meal times, mission statement, that sort of thing, things that are required in the Act. But some of them are really great ideas that we've heard from homes, like how would you like to be involved in hiring new team members? So we have heard that some homes will ask residents to be part of the interview panel and contribute to that process, get to know people before they even start, and contribute to the orientation process. And while these things are not required in the Act, they are such a quality initiative and something that your home can do to show to residents, to team members, that the resident voice is so valuable in your homes. In addition to providing these suggestions of things you can ask residents, we've also have one poster where the circles, the radiating circles, are empty. And the document is actually a template where your home can work together to populate those bubbles. And think about what you've done in the last year, how you've involved residents, what you've asked residents for their feedback on, for their opinion on. And sometimes homes, it's so ingrained in their culture that they do everything with resident involvement. They always ask residents. So you don't think that what you're doing is special or important, but it's great to brag and highlight what you've done as a home. This document you can also use, if your home's going through accreditation and you have this document that shows all of the different areas where you've involved residents. You can also use it to encourage new residents to attend. You have this document that shows, these great accomplishments that your council has made and things in the home that residents have been involved in. So you can hand that to them and say, hey, resident council is absolutely worth it to attend. It's so important to attend. Look at what you can be involved in.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea too, to remind yourselves as a council. Sometimes during the year, you're in September and you forget what has happened in February and March of that year and how you've been able to be involved in the home. And you might be on to the next thing that you're trying to work with the home on, and that you're forgetting all the other accomplishments. So being able to look back on that and see how you've been really involved as a council is really important and really exciting. Another way that it can be used too is when you are going through your resident satisfaction survey, to look back, because there is a question on that survey that asks, how has your home engaged your voice? And sometimes it's like, oh, well, I don't know if they have or not, but you can look at that poster and say, oh, this is how we've been engaged, and to be reminded that you have been.
Yeah, that question, does anyone in your home ask for your advice? And
Mhm.
everyone's kind of like, no, why would they ask for my advice, right? But
Exactly.
in reality, you have been asked for your advice and your suggestions on a number of things. So like Mel said, having them in this one place is a great reminder of all that you've done.
Mhm.
Okay, so some of these we've already talked about. Mel mentioned the Clio Resident Bill of Rights booklet. So anywhere you see blue and an underline, it's because there's a link there that you'll have access to when you get the slide deck. And the Clio booklet, those are free. If you're not familiar with them, it's a booklet that goes through all of the residents' rights and gives a description of what each can look like in your home. You can order these by the case. You can give one to every resident in your home who would like one. And the feedback that we've received is that people really like this booklet. Team members really like it. Residents like it. So there is enough time if you order soon to get yours in before the week. On our website, we also have copies of the Resident Bill of Rights in various languages. I believe there's over 25 languages right now. So that if you're in a home that's very multicultural and you'd like to have a special resident rights program for a particular group and present the Bill of Rights in their language, you can access that through our website. Something else that's worked really well is to contact your member of provincial parliament, or even a city councillor or the mayor or an elected official in your area. This link that you have here, you can put your postal code in and it will tell you who your MPP is if you don't know who they are or have a relationship with them yet. Call them or email them. Let them know about Residence Council and the importance of it in your home. Ask them how they can help support this. That it could be something like a post on social media or a message to the residents in the home that the MPP is, celebrates the week with you and thanks you and encourages you for your work. It could be a visit to the home. In a place that I was working at before, the local counselor actually came in with cookies and with some information to share with residents during this week. So let them know about it if that's the first step. So promoting it, letting people know, and you never know what will come out of it. So that's an easy thing to do as well, and doesn't cost anything. We've already mentioned working with the food service department to host that residents' choice meal. And of course, participating in OARC's contests for that week.
Yes.
Okay. So our first contest, this one here, we've talked about the 3 pillars earlier in this webinar and also encouraged you to host some kind of event where the 3 pillars get together, you take a photo, and there was a reason for that. So we would love to see photos of your 3 pillars together in action, gathered somewhere in the home after you've gotten to know them, and send those photos to us, but also include each person's name. So, your administrator's name, their title, their contact information. Same for your resident council leadership team. Some homes have a president or a vice president. Some homes have a shared leadership model. So the person on your residence council leadership team and the council assistant. And this serves a couple of purposes. So OARC, we have a database of administrators, resident council assistants, and resident leaders in the homes. But it's constantly requiring being updated. So in order for us to keep getting this information out to you and to make sure you're aware of what we're doing, about our upcoming webinars, about our publications, that sort of thing. It's important that that contact information be kept up to date as possible. So our ask this year is for you to send us that photo of your 3 pillars along with their information, and there will be a draw for one of 6 $50 gift cards of your choice on Wednesday, the 13th, during the webinar Wednesday.
Yeah, so if you remember, we had talked about Tuesday being Togetherness Tuesday. So we really made it easy for you with our theme days to bring those 3 pillars together, do your party with each other, or whatever you decide to do for those 3 pillars to come together on Togetherness Tuesday. Take that photo and send it in to us by end of day.
Yes, that's really important. So end of day on the Tuesday, so by 5 p.m. on the Togetherness Tuesday, if you could send that information to us. You can send it earlier as well if you already have an event, or you can get this done earlier. You can already send those in, but that will be the deadline on that day. And we will be looking out for photoshopped photos. So please make sure it's a real photo taken of the 3, and everyone's got permission. They want to be there. They're happy and smiling. And then you'll be entered into this draw. And the second part of our celebrations and awards for Residence Council Week. So starting this year and going forward, we will be awarding the Sharron Cooke Annual Legacy Award during Residence Council Week. Information about the award has already gone out in our May newsletter, June newsletter, and the July newsletter. And we're sharing with you again today to encourage you to apply for this award. This award, we actually had the opportunity to work on this award and create it while Sharron was still with us last summer. So she was instrumental in shaping what the award would be, what the criteria would be for the winner, and what the spirit of the award really was all about. So Sharron really believed in relationships in the home. So relationships were the foundation for everything. And that special relationship between the team members, the administrator, the council assistant, the residents was so important. And homes demonstrating that they were on a culture change journey. So they were taking steps, taking actions to involve residents and have everybody really feeling like their voices mattered, and showing that that their voices mattered as well. So this is the spirit of the award. One of Sharron's quotes is here. So you can have all kinds of nice things in your home, but the atmosphere and interaction with residents shows more person-centered care than material items. A friendly smile, conversation, involvement of volunteers, team members, etc., make a good home. That is all any resident will ask for. The company of a friend to talk and listen to. Life is simple, really. So in keeping with Sharron's vision, the award is quite simple to apply for. We didn't want to, and Sharron didn't want for homes to have to create something new or do something special. It's really about looking back at what you've done and recognizing that and sharing it with us. Something that you may be doing in your home, again, might be so ingrained in the culture of your home that you don't think that it's special. But when it's shared with other homes who are not as far along on their culture change journey as you may be, lights go off. There's that aha moment. People are inspired by hearing your stories. So that's what this is all about. We want to keep encouraging homes and celebrating homes that are promoting this culture of open, authentic communication between residents and team members. Okay, so about the award, the winning home will be consulted to select a prize item valued up to $500. So we recognize that every home is different and the resources at every home are different. So the council at the home, along with the team, can work together to decide what their prize wants to be like, or what they want their prize to be. But it has to be something that helps bring people together and builds community in the home. Some examples are a bench where people can gather and talk and help build those relationships. A patio umbrella where people can gather and talk and share. Maybe it's a microphone system for your residence council. Maybe, there's some challenges with hearing what's going on. So a microphone system that just helps people be more involved and continue to build community and relationships. So the big question, how do you apply for this award? Application packages are available on our website in 2 formats. So you can fill out a print and complete a Word document application, or you can apply through a SurveyMonkey link. The application is very streamlined and easy to fill out. It doesn't have to be long. What it does have to be is jointly completed by team members and residents. So we really, to show that there is that collaboration in the home, part of showing that is that you've jointly completed this application. And then describing how whatever the initiative is in your home has influenced your home in one of these 4 areas here. You need to include feedback or photos or quotes from residents and team members to talking about the impact of the project or the collaboration. And I mentioned the photos already. So the deadline for this is August 11th at 5 p.m. Eastern time. There's just over a week and a bit left to apply for this. But again, spend some time, think about what your home has done and fill in the application, send it over to us. If you need some help, you can ask. We can help you not complete the application, but you want to run an idea by us and say, oh, would this count? We can help you and guide you in that. But start talking about that if you haven't already. And if you have started an application, please get it in. Winners, the winning home will be announced during Residence Council Week live during that Wednesday webinar, but the home will have been notified by us the week before. So before Residence Council Week, you'll already know if you are the winner, and we'll make the public announcement on the Wednesday of the webinar. So, geez, we went through a lot.
We did.
We were thinking we'd have a bit more than 2 minutes for questions.
Yeah, I don't see any questions put into the question and answer. Maybe we can give a minute to see if anybody adds. I do want to, while we wait for any questions that come through, I can give a couple of examples from some of the home visits that I've been at of what could qualify for our contest. There was one home who, with their quality improvement program, every month they have 3 of their quality indicators that they post at the front. It's a poster that they'll post at the front of their building, and it'll showcase the 3 different quality indicators. And then they also bring that to their resident council, those 3 indicators, to the resident council meeting and ask for feedback. They share what it is, but then they also ask the feedback from each of those pillar or indicators from the residents, which is great. This is something they do every month, and they pick 3 different indicators each month or each quarter, I think it is. I can't remember if it's quarter or a month, but and then they bring it for the feedback. So that's something they're already doing. Another home had done a fundraiser together, and they had incorporated their family council, their resident council, and their team members, and they all worked together to bring about this fundraisers. I know of another home who also is building a new build, and this was a really neat idea that they did, which I thought was really interesting as well, that to incorporate the residents' viewpoint from the development stage, they had the architects and the developers build, or they are going to, I don't think they have yet, they are going to do a model of the room in their auditorium so residents and staff can walk through and give feedback on it and what they like, what they don't like, things that they might be missing. So that was an incredible way that they can incorporate residents' voices in that. We do have a question. What things do you have in mind for Webinar Wednesday? I think we missed that part.
Yeah, thanks, Jennifer, for the question. For Webinar Wednesday during Residents Council Week, part of it will be celebratory and part of it will be information sharing. We still keep getting a lot of questions about Residents Council 101, so just the very basics of Residents Council. But in addition to that, we will be announcing the prizes and the awards. And if we've received any photos from homes or any sharing, we could pull that together just to contribute to the celebratory nature of the webinar. So more to come on that. And thank you so much for being here this afternoon with us and for being here for an extra minute or two.
Yes.
It's always nice to meet with you and to talk with you and share what's happening with us and hopefully inspire some ideas for you. We'd love to hear from you again and hear what you're doing with your Residents Council for Residents Council Week. Please stay in touch with us. And again, reach out if you have any questions about the award. And if you're on the right track with that, we can help to support that. And if you have any questions about Residents Council Week, we can also help you with that. So keep an eye out for the recording and for the slide deck of this webinar, along with the Resident Council Week ideas sheet that will be sent out very shortly. And as always, it's been a pleasure to be here with you. Thank you, Mel.
Oh,
And
you're welcome.
please take a moment to fill out the evaluation that will pop up once the webinar is concluded. So thanks, everyone. Have a wonderful rest of the week and rest of August if we don't check in with you until after that, and see you next month.
Yeah, excited to see the things that you share with us for Resident Council Week as well, if we don't hear from you beforehand.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah.